Welcome back to the Storyboard Podcast, episode 4. In this episode, we have our good friend Nick. We deep dive into how he got into creating, how he created this awesome coffee shop, and how he was our assistant for so many years. Welcome to the podcast, Nic Tanaka.
We're in a new place.
Yeah, in a new place. Nick has opened up his amazing coffee shop for us to have guests here. And we thought, what better way than to have him be our first guest? Mm-hmm. Nick was our assistant at Alphalete for a couple of years. Our Padawan, as we called him.
We met in 2020, right?
Yeah. We met him in 2020.
It feels like we've known you forever, though. I feel like when I say it's only been, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know your whole family, and we're like in the... I feel like I'm
but Nick has
connected.
been with us. He was our assistant for so many years on video shoots, photo shoots. His style is probably the most similar to our style. Mm-hmm. And anytime we can steal him away from the coffee shop to do photo shoots with us, we always steal him.
Yeah.
But he's running a super successful business here. It's called Kohiko. So if you're ever in Sugar Land, come visit Kohiko.
I'm pretty sure I can see the door.
Yeah.
It's just backwards, but
Yeah. World's best coffee shop.
yeah, I was just having dinner with Kirsten, and we were looking at old photos because we were with our family friend.
Right.
Well, family friend, mutual friend, I guess. And we were just kind of talking about when Kirsten and I started dating, which was also around the time I met you guys.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. That's
It
like
was
right when y'all
right
started
around the
dating.
time.
Well, Kirsten got you your job.
Kirsten got me the job. Yeah, I wanted to take pictures of her as just like
She modeled in your application.
as an exercise. Like at
Yeah.
the time, I was like powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
I just got into it, so going to a gym like Alphalete seemed very fitting. And I think it was just I tagged you in. Did I tag you in it? No, I tagged Alphalete.
I think I just creeped and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Well, we were looking for an assistant.
Well, you did fill out an application. No, you submitted your portfolio, I think, or your resume.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I did have your contact through my email. But those were the images that stood out. The ones of Kirsten, I still remember it was in the purple-y blue workout set that you shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to find that photo.
One of my favorite things about you is that you, through different phases of your life, like in your different interests, your creative outlet is still weaved into all of them. So it's like when you say I was into powerlifting at the time, like you were still photographing in your interest. Does that make sense? Like you were still weaving creativity into the things that you were doing at the time. And you do that now with coffee, and you've done that through
I didn't really think about
all
that.
the elements of
Yeah.
even with your love of gaming and Pokemon, and there's always a creative outlet in your interests. It's great.
Yeah, I think when I first met you guys, I was sort of in identity crisis, honestly, because it was right outside of college, and I knew I loved taking pictures, but I didn't know what, what of, and it just kind of trends with my life.
Yeah.
When I was a barista, I was taking pictures of all the coffee shops around Houston. I even made a whole exhibit, or not an exhibit, a gallery of it. And then, when I got into Pokemon, I started taking pictures of just Pokemon stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to explain.
Yeah.
When you tell someone that you're taking pictures of Pokemon cards, it's so weird. But I've always just loved taking pictures of what I love. And that's
what's an outlet for you, a passionate outlet.
One of the coolest things that I think is that you and Kirby went through the same program in college at different times, but y'all went through the same program.
A lot of the same professors.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I don't know, the styles kind of mend, because you went through that art school process first. So is that what got you into creating, is going to art school? What made you want to start doing photography?
Well, I think I told you, but my photography really started with my dad. My dad was this young Asian kid in Orange County that wanted to be a creative, but his parents didn't want to, or my grandparents. They wanted him to be in IT, technology. They thought technology was the future. So they're okay.
We weren't wrong, honestly.
Yeah, he was wrong. He's still in IT to this day, and he knows his computers very well. But I remember it was like a summer. It was like I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were cleaning my grandparents' house that was once my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
But they moved here, so they gave my grandparents their house. That's why every time I go stay at the house, like, there's me and my brother's bedroom, like, still has, like, the old wallpaper, but he still lives in it. And, I found, like, the Canon AE1 program up in the attic. And I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, what is this weird thing? I can't see a screen behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me to figure it out. So I like literally spent that whole summer like figuring out how to work a film camera.
Mm-hmm.
And, I kept going to my dad, and my dad being my dad, he was always mysterious. So he was just like, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So like literally this one camera ended up being my summer of just like learning how to, I didn't develop it at the time myself, but I wanted to learn like what would create a good picture.
Yeah, how to make like a proper exposure.
A proper exposed picture.
Mm-hmm.
My dad still had the light meter. My dad had like a Tamron like old camera bag.
Yeah. With all the accessories.
All the accessories, filters, and everything. So I messed with it. Fast forward, middle school, high school, become editor-in-chief at Clemens High School.
Oh, that's cool. You were like in the yearbook stuff?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then when I was about to graduate for high school, I was like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to like be a doctor. Like, I don't want to,
go into tech.
Yeah. I genuinely hated tech at the time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to take pictures. So I told my parents that I wanted to go to art school. They weren't against it.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't against it. They were just like, we help you make money.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially from my mom. Like, she was like, you need to make money. You need to learn how to profit.
Mm-hmm.
You need to learn how to take care of yourself with this job of yours.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's when I got really serious with like homecoming or
Mm-hmm.
like, I attempted to do one wedding by myself. It was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like,
Yeah.
I think I can do this all myself. But I was like, I missed so many angles. Thankfully the wedding couple was very nice, but I've tried a lot of that.
That's like a rite of passage, though. Like, I feel like you can't really claim to be a true photographer till you've shot a wedding.
Yeah,
solo.
I feel like everyone has.
Like, it's like part of it's
Well,
like you have to earn your stripes. Like, you got.
I don't think I've technically shot a wedding by myself.
Okay, maybe not solo, but
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've done solo shooting as video.
Yeah, I've done videos by
Yeah.
myself, but I've never done like a
But
solo.
that's
Yeah,
That's definitely you gotta like earn it.
I give props to myself for like continuing to take pictures because
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of times where like I tried different things and it felt numb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, me and JD, we did urban photography for a while. Like, we wanted to do, we would like,
like street photography.
trespass buildings and, take those like,
Yeah.
I
think everyone early in their career had to like
warehouses
Right?
had to like trespass
I
a little
feel like
bit.
that's like a common thing in the
Yeah,
creative world,
yeah.
especially in Houston. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I tried all of it, and props to like, I mean, the one person I can bring out is Angie.
Mm-hmm.
She went to college with me, but her Instagram tag is Angie Just Shoot Me. I think I've showed you her, but like she's stuck with weddings since like I met her.
Yeah.
And she still does it today, and she
Yeah.
loves it. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you
Yeah.
because I can't do that.
There's
Yeah.
those people that it's like weddings are their thing.
We have
Yeah.
a lot of friends like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And more power to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I shot
But-
weddings
yeah.
for several years, and I just think that it's I don't know, you really have to love it because it's such a brutal industry, and if you don't love it, like, you're not going to stick with it very long.
But I think like weddings will make you good.
Oh yeah.
Like even if you don't love them, the high pace, got to think on your feet, they make you really, really good, really quick.
Yeah, and
Teach you how to adapt.
yeah, it wasn't until college where I was like, okay, I just like taking pictures of people.
Yeah.
I think that's what really interests me, whether it's like street photography, like the pictures behind you, or if it's like someone that's celebrating something, someone that's doing something they love, like someone that's proud of their body, right? Like that, I think that's probably what like really drew me in with photography. And it started with the senior thesis, right? We had like this big project our senior year, and it has to be like a gallery of photos. Mine was a gallery of Asian Americans because I was like, okay, I'm kind of dealing with this identity thing. Like, what if I take pictures of other people that are like me and see how they react, like in front of a camera? Because I've always known, like, people in front of a camera, they're not natural, right?
Right.
it's almost like they have to show a certain part of themselves, right? Once the camera's in front of their face. And I tested that with Asian Americans. You'll notice like some were shy, some people like had a hoodie in front of them. Yeah. Some people were like embracing it, like JD, like he was just like hands in his pocket with his hoodie, and he owns his style, he owns his height. JD's like, he's probably watching this, but like
he'll appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. He will. Yeah, that's what I loved about it. Yeah. And then after college, I knew portraiture had like probably the most money in photography, so I stuck with it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that the reason that we clicked so well as friends, but also the reason that creatively, because you can take a group of like 10 people and teach them all the same 10 steps, like turn on your camera, put it to this setting, turn on your light, fire your light, whatever. And everyone's going to come out with a different output. And I think that's the beauty of art and creating. But with you, it just always felt like your brain just like ticked the same way as mine or as ours.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not even saying that as like, I'm not trying to, like hype you up or something. No. It was just like very cool. There were so many times that I'm like, it's rare to see someone get from point A to point B a similar way.
Yeah.
And that can't be taught, And I think that your love of photographing people and just like the human face and the human experience, and then us having a similar background in our education, even in learning the basics like on a film camera, like so many of those things just align to where it's like it was just this really like beautiful thing. And then on top of it, we just like loved you. So becoming friends on top of all that, it was just a really cool. It was cool to see it play out, and it happened really fast.
Yeah.
Like I feel like because you your early introduction into lighting, at first you were, I
was all natural.
Normal, like everyone's like overwhelmed by artificial lighting in the beginning, and I think it was just crazy to see how fast you fell in love with it, and we fell in love with watching you fall in love with it. So that was really
man, we're getting sappy over here.
So many years me and Kirby shot together. I mean, we've been filming and photographing together for like since 2010 or 9? Yeah. And so we had a solid decade or more together to where we learned each other, and we were able to like pretty much read each other's mind. Yeah. And we have never had someone that could come along and just like pick it up like that, and we didn't have to like tell them anything. And still to this day, I think it's like y'all's background and like you were saying, in love of film photography, going through the same program, having to go through the critiques. Kirby talked about this in episode 2 about having to go through like the critiques and how that pretty much built her.
We could talk about that for a while.
Yeah, like how that built her as a creative.
It gives you like it's terrible to go through, but it gives you
very humble
thick skin that you need to survive as like,
I wish I went through that, because like if someone sends me revisions, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine, but deep down I'm like,
it like cuts deep.
Yeah. So like like you went to you found your dad's camera and went through school and everything like that. What made you want to go to U of H and do the program there?
I did not want to go to U of H.
Really?
At all. I wanted to go to UCLA.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to go to UCLA.
Or USC
for the film film school. I looked up the film school.
Yeah.
I saw. I used to watch videos about it, YouTube videos of like students, or like they did a lot of field projects. Right, they would go out and they would literally
hands-on
crew. Yeah, they start a whole crew and film a documentary here and there. And my family's in California. A lot of my aunties were educators at USC or UCLA, and I just found out I was dumb. There's some smart people out there, and I was not fit for UCLA. Then I tried UNT, University of North Texas, because I was in drumline.
Right?
They have a good program.
Great music program. Great.
One of my
also,
friends used to teach film there.
Yeah, also a great film program. So it was kind of like, okay, maybe I could go out there and try both of them. And
did you apply?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I got accepted. But I don't know, like. It's almost like when you get up to the decision of like, oh, you stay here or you leave home.
Yeah.
Moment, I was like, that's tough. Like I think now being older, being close to my family is really important.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time. Like I wanted to be like any other creative, right? Go to the big city in LA and just like, try and figure it out. That didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to U of H. I knew for a fact I didn't want to go to anything else other than art school. I tried computer science. Actually, this is really funny. I signed up for College of Computer Science instead of College of Marketing because they both have digital media, but it was digital media photography and digital media computer science.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Anyways, I spent like a semester. I hated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, okay, this is, I feel comfortable and not comfortable in like a, I don't want to say lazy because like comfort shouldn't be related to lazy, but I felt comfortable. It's like, I knew I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew art was like an expansive, like media or culture, that you can, kind of create your own path with. And I've always wanted to do that.
It's crazy. Like you said that about leaving your family and everything like that, because I kind of had a similar feeling. Like I was really close with my parents, like, and I wanted to go to LA. I wanted to go, New York and do film and all that. But I was always kind of scared to leave home. But now looking back, I don't want to say that I have regrets, but I'm like, I often think like, what would my life look like if I would have made those decisions,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, when you think about being 18 though, and like the mindset that you're in as an 18-year-old, it doesn't matter if you're mature or independent. It's terrifying. I mean, if you're close with your family, to think about just being like just life away from the people that you care about and that support you, So I think that's a really normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer that you shouldn't ever look back on anything in your life with, and wish that it would have been different, because I think even if we don't see it currently, everything's playing out exactly the way that it should in the right time. And a lot of times things just take longer to play out or play out differently than we expected, but that there's a reason for it.
Yeah. And also I think around that time I was also, and you guys really helped me figure out this, but like, I don't know, I can't remember the exact conversation, but it was about like, I kept choosing two medias, right? I kept choosing photo and video.
Oh yeah, and for a while you were looking into After Effects stuff too.
I was looking at After Effects, and now I did graphic design, which was like a weird like turn, but
it's all connected.
Yeah, the main thing was when we were all shooting for Alpha Fleet, I was making videos for you, and I was taking photos of you or with you, and I couldn't figure out which one I really wanted to pursue. And now looking back, I'm like, okay, now photography is like my thing. It really helped me like tune in to my creativity, because I know that when I kept shooting video, I didn't feel like I was not enjoying it, but I didn't feel right doing it. Like I felt like it wasn't my media. And that's why like, I'm glad I went to photography at U of H, because if I went to film, I don't know if I would have really enjoyed it. I think it would have been like probably a forceful thing for me to just enter into that kind of industry, or that part of the industry that, makes good money, but it's like, I don't think I'd be as happy,
Yeah. And there's so many, it's cool. There's so many things to learn. We used to always joke, I still joke with people about it, that I'm like, photography is like, you can take your time because you're looking at one frame and making it perfect. And to me, the way my brain works, like film, there's so many other distractions I don't care about. Like I don't care about the audio. I don't care about
By film you mean video.
Sorry, video. Yeah. Like the camera movements, like all the things that traditional like cinematographers, they do care about that stuff. And I'm like, I just want to make like the perfect frame, and all those other things can almost feel like a distraction. But I know that that's just how my brain works. And I also have to be open-minded to the fact that there's things to learn in all the other avenues as well, because I'm a better photographer because I'm his assistant for video.
Yeah, and same. Like I became way better at video, learning photography and learning lighting through photography. Yeah. Like I wouldn't know lighting if it wasn't for photography.
So I don't think anyone should ever just shut themselves off as like basically like, oh, there's nothing I can learn from any other avenue. I think the reason
like we were telling you that so much was because at that time there's a lot of like, I'm a photo video person, like doing both at the same, and like marketing themselves at that. And I was like, if you really want to stand out, and this was back in like 2019, this is a while ago. The times have changed, obviously, pre-COVID, everything. But if you want to stand out, master one thing first. And that may be like a controversial like saying, but
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Also, as long as you're passionate about it.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying don't do anything else, but like have your thing and be like a master at that one thing. You can still have, interests. I appreciate a good photo every now and then, even though I'm terrible at taking them.
No,
I try and I have fun.
I think photographers are underrated.
Agreed.
100%.
I do too. I think. Do you think it's because of the iPhone? Because of like smartphones? It's kind of commoditized a little bit.
I think filmmaking has really taken over simply because of the fast fame, right? You know, like the moment you turn into a video, you get to easily put your personality out. You get to put your character out there. Photography, it's much harder, right? Like you see a frame and you're like, oh, that's pretty.
It's hard to have a voice.
It's hard to have a voice, hard to have a message. And I think, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but doing it in video form is a lot easier in terms of like putting out your character or... It's
like technically harder, but easier to stand out.
Yeah, I don't mean like filmmaking is easy, but I'm talking about like to put out your... Man, I really don't want to get canceled.
It's so hard, right? It's all right. No one watches
your personality,
this.
Personality,
yeah. Right. I see
everyone
that.
wants to be a YouTuber. Everyone wants to be like a vlogger, which is fine.
And I think that, I know you mentioned the iPhone, but I think that when photography started becoming more accessible, it's good and bad, but it became more affordable and more accessible to people. And all of a sudden now everyone's like claiming that they're a photographer. I don't mean now. I mean, there was this huge wave where it's like, oh, I'm a professional. And there was no certification that it's like to prove that you're a professional. So everyone's a professional photographer. And I think that unfortunately it kind of watered down the industry and broke a lot of people's trusts because a lot of people were out there running portrait businesses without a great base knowledge, of
not even technical, but just like business knowledge and everything.
And I think it's just like I just think back to like the forefathers, like our photography, like the people who paved the way, the guys that had to lug these giant like medium format machines out to get like these perfect tintype captures or like like that's photography, like people who would just obsess over the composition and the contrast and wait all night for like the perfect shadow to hit, whatever. And I just think that that's not really alive anymore today because everything is just like, snap a photo, throw a filter on it, call it a day.
I know I should like have pointed this out in my career way earlier, but this year it's really become apparent to me how much composition matters. And it's through Severance, that show.
Yeah.
Man.
I have not
watched the last one that came out.
I was going to ask you so that we could recap it.
So like when you watch Severance, yes, it's lit beautifully and the set design is insane. But what I feel like makes it so powerful are those crazy compositions that the DP does.
Yeah.
And she'll just do like an off axis, like put the person's head in the bottom left-hand frame. Or like,
but it's so intentional.
It's so intentional, and the camera's not doing anything crazy.
Like it's to cause tension or
but
to
it just
cause
like sucks you in so
uncertainty.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like, I don't know. We'll go see like whatever movie, and it's got this crazy FPV drone that's like moving everywhere, but it's
Which there's a purpose for that too.
There is, but for me personally, like I'm seeing how much more a very well composed image can hit home more than moving the camera sometimes.
Yeah, the still frames in Severance are like they're the most like impactful.
The entire series, you can pause it at any moment and it looks like a photograph. Like literally at any second of any episode.
I definitely think that's like my top show.
I think Jessica Lee is the name of the DP.
The DP, yeah.
For sure, she directed the last episode.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not Lee. It's she has a. It sounds like that though.
Well, it's like Jessica Lee something.
Yeah.
But
she's insane.
Incredible. Yeah.
So good. Sorry, that was off on a rant.
Yeah.
But
that's fine.
Yeah, I love like now I'm like, all right, let's make a good composition before we like figure out like how to light this crazy.
Yeah.
Because you can go outside and use the natural light and get a crazy composition and it's going to be 10 times more interesting.
Your eye for composition, going back to like what I said about you weaving your creativity into your passions, because I would say you're equally passionate about coffee. But the reason that the shop looks the way it does, and the reason that the marketing for the shop is so authentically unique and like rich, is because you just see, like, that's what I was saying, like, your eyes just see it, like the
vision.
sun comes in and like is casting a shadow on the bar, and you're like, let me just set my latte there, and it's like these stunning images that you capture. So
for those of you listening, if you're not following Kohiko on Instagram, go follow Kohiko.
Even if you don't care about coffee,
it's
like
the
if you
most
just want to see beautiful
aesthetic coffee shop Instagram
images
that you'll ever see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that kind of like transitions to what I wanted to talk about now, which was like bringing your passion of creating and your passion of coffee to create this insane, incredible shop. Like, I think that, like Kirby was saying, like, it's your eye for composition, your eye for design, like just knowing like, hey, I want the bar to be this wide and I want the cubbies that are behind us, you know, to come out just to this amount.
And tuning out whenever other people might have not agreed or might have been like, are you sure? Or
you know how
question
many
things.
suggestions I give to Nick, and he just like, yeah.
But I respect that so much.
I know, me
because
too.
it's like he knows, like he knows what he wants, and not in a bad way, but it's just like, you can have 50 people telling you, do this, or don't do this, or whatever, and you just know, you know.
But
like,
I'll send, like, I'll have like friends. I'll be like, hey, come meet me at my friend's coffee shop, and I'll send them the Instagram, and they're like, this looks crazy.
When people
Yeah,
come
so
in,
many people talk about. They're like, oh, I saw this on Instagram, and it's like super. Like, it just looked really cool.
But it's not just like when people come in, it feels like it too.
Yeah,
you know, like it's not just like an artsy edit. You know.
Yeah. So, like, how was that merging your worlds from loving of coffee?
That's such like to me, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah. Because okay, before Alphalete, before you were our assistant, you were working at a coffee shop, another like really prestigious Houston coffee shop where you got all of your training. You learn how to use all 12 of your senses to like taste coffee and how to roast. You went to, where was it, Costa Rica?
Brazil. Yeah, I forgot about that. I went to Brazil, for an origin trip. Yeah,
and so you really learned coffee before you came to work with us.
I mean, my coffee was like my plan B. You know, if photography didn't happen, like that was like, okay, I think I could be in hospitality for the rest of my life.
Do you feel like you loved it as much? Like, would you say it was like equal?
Or
now it's grown.
I've had tons of conversations with Kirsten about it. You know, like what I love is making people happy. You know, whether it's grabbing their photos for their graduation or it's serving them a nice cup of Joe. You know, I think the feeling you get from giving that service, like that kind of service, whether it's taking the photos of someone or it's, you know, coming in and giving them an experience and they leave happy, like that's what makes me happy. Yeah. And I think that's what fuels my life. Like my life is fueled by happiness. I think that's why I live by my grandpa, you know, like my grandpa, he was always happy about things. Like he chose to be optimistic. He chose to be delightful about things. And, you know, we live in, I know it sounds so cliche, but like this world is so messed up right now. And I think like everyone misses out on that happiness or that I would consider love. You know, people just don't get loved the right way. And, you know, to like put both of my passions together, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. Because I knew like taking pictures wouldn't get me to this, right? Like I'd have to learn things. I'd have to learn, you know, architecture. I had to learn, you know, millwork. I had to learn electrical. I had to learn plumbing. You know, I had to learn all these things. I had to learn how to talk to the city. Yeah. And no one told me. You know, I just kind of like had to go and
figured it out.
Yeah,
but that's just like how you treat every. If you care about it, I just feel like you don't wait around and ask questions. You're just like, I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah. You know, and that's such a great quality.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think all my siblings have that too. Yeah. You met my siblings. Yeah. And
yeah, it's a Tanaka family trait.
Yeah. I'm stubborn. I'm as stubborn as you. Yeah. I would say like.
I agree.
Very stubborn.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like I've always had this pride of like doing it myself, and that's a big reason why we don't have investors. Like we don't have partners. My partner's my sister, and you know I couldn't have it any other way. People come up to me all the time. Never start a business with your family. Well, you probably just don't like your family.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you probably just
like
don't.
You haven't met my family.
Yeah, you haven't met my family. I mean, yeah, we butt heads a lot, but you know, I think we both have tough skin. We, you know, came from a rough childhood. I would say rough, and yeah, I think my like drive comes from like making people happy.
I love that.
And like I want to fill like this whole shop with just pictures.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like of customers, of like, you know, the service that we do here. I think I've always considered myself artistic, but like I only show it in specific ways. Like I don't dress nice. I just put whatever on. Yeah, literally. When we worked at Alphalete, all I wore was Alphalete because it was easy.
Right.
It was easy. Like I was like,
gym clothes.
Gym clothes. I'll put it on. Whatever. Yeah. But you would never expect me to take, you know, these not weird pictures, these nice pictures. You know, it's like
weird can be nice too, though.
Yeah. So that's how I felt with the design, the interior design. I didn't know what to put here. I didn't, you know, it's just kind of like I
but
had
you applied like the same, like your same knowledge of graphic design and photography and colors into a physical form, you know, like into a tangible thing in the shop.
You know, I used my fundamental knowledge, you know, like, okay, the green and brown tones bring earthy notes, which would give you homey vibes. You know, it's not like orange and red. That's going to give you like
stressed out
vibes, right? Like I'm looking for like things that are like quiet, like, you know, soft. You know, I love my shop. I really do. I think especially putting my physical labor into it as well, like has a lot to do with how much it means to me. Yeah. But yeah, like whenever I wasn't falling in love with photography, I was doing coffee. Whenever I wasn't falling in love with coffee, I fell in love with photography. And it was because like it's not because I didn't want to do it anymore. It's because I wanted to find other ways to make people happy. Yeah. And that's how it's been since probably high school. It's been
I love that that's like the underlying kind of like your drive, you know, behind.
I mean, all the Alphalete athletes that we shot together, the most thing that like driven me was like having them look at the pictures. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I look amazing." Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
that's like the best feeling.
That's the best
for
feeling.
everything. Yeah,
I agree.
Remind me of the lady that we took pictures at the gym. She has one arm.
Oh yeah.
Faith.
Faith. Yeah.
That was literally probably the one of the most powerful moments ever since we worked together at Alphalete. Yeah. Because I got to talk to her. Yeah. I got to see her. I got to, you know, see how you made her look. Yeah. Made her feel. How you had her reflect during that interview. Yeah. And I was like, man, I want to do that.
That's literally the reason that I picked up a camera was because of that. Whenever you see someone in a certain way, but they can't see themselves that way, like it's from your own. It's like, let me show you how I see you. Yeah, you know, literally. And literally. I think
what's crazy that's too, magic. Yeah, is that, I mean, that's kind of what fuel. I think most people that get into photography or even like videography or filmmaking, whatever, it's how they make other people feel. And I feel like that's what you do through coffee now.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
People come in and you make them feel good. You make them happy. You serve them, like you said, a warm cup of Joe that they've never had. I guarantee you they've never had before. Yeah. And you ask them about themselves, and you're like, I think you would like this. You hand make all your own syrups here, so it's syrups that you wouldn't get anywhere else. Are super creative, so you can like tailor that to people.
In
and
a
you
weird
actually
way,
do take the time to get to know people, which is cool.
It also makes people feel. This is going to sound weird, but brave, because when you walk into a coffee shop that you might not understand the full menu, or there might be like something you never tried before, it can be really intimidating because you don't know on the other side of the bar if the person's going to like judge you or like make you feel stupid for asking a question. And I feel like you've created this environment with you and your whole team to where when people come in and they ask, they've not only do they feel educated about what's like what you're offering, but they feel like I'm willing to try something new and step out of my comfort zone because like I trust these people. There's like this relationship that's forming, and I think that's it's hard to find that. And once again, it's not something you can really teach.
Yeah, that brings up a perspective, especially after this week. I had probably a dozen people come up to me this past weekend. I don't know, maybe it's people are coming in town for spring break, whatever. But I had a dozen people come in this past week asking me, what makes this Japanese? I'm like, okay, well, it's not the coffee.
Like, how long do you have? I can sit down.
Yeah, how long? Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's not the coffee. The coffee's not what makes it Japanese. I think that's what people think it is because it's Japanese specialty coffee shop. But I put Japanese in front of it because I'm representing a culture, not an ethnicity. I'm not. That's different.
Or a product.
A product. Yeah, I'm representing the culture, and the culture is when you go to Japan, you notice everyone cares. Everyone, like someone that works at McDonald's, they care. Someone that works at Yoshinoya, it's a local restaurant, they care. Your small mom and pop shop, they care. The people that run the metro station, they care. They care a lot. And that's the culture that I brought here because my team, they care. Yeah. And I make sure of it.
And that it's unfortunate, but that is hard to find.
Yes.
Honestly, like anywhere else. And for it to be genuine.
I could not be any happier than the team that I have now, and a lot of that care comes from me, because like if the boss doesn't care, why would you care?
Right. And even that goes along with like what you said, you talking about your grandpa and his outlook on life and how the world just needs people to love them. And that it's all strung together, you know?
Which you can do through photography or what you did through photography. And every time we did a shoot, we sat there and we spent 30 minutes to an hour before the shoot connecting with them, talking with them, making them feel comfortable.
Which you don't have to do, which goes back to kind of what I said earlier. There's people that isn't what drives them. And like I said, when people come in and it takes a little bit of bravery in the shop to maybe ask for a recommendation or something, it takes bravery to step in front of a camera in front of someone because that's a vulnerable state, And I think that you equally need that trust It's so interesting how much they correlate, but you need you do have to trust the person on the other side of the bar or the other side of the camera to say, I'm in your hands, like take care of me. So I think that's a really cool. It's cool to see how they like parallel.
Building a team made me really nervous. Yeah, it did, because, I mean, you offered great leadership at Alpha Elite. And it was no, you did. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, even Jay and I talked about it behind the scenes. We're like, dude, she's handling a lot. Yeah. And I think like the biggest thing I learned from you was that you care. Like you cared for everyone in the office, the person at the front desk, the gym member, the cleaning staff, right? Maria, right? Like you cared for all of them, and I thought that represented a lot of leadership, strong leadership, because I think it's I wouldn't say it's underrated because, everyone needs a good leader, but it's hard to find. Yeah. I remember like when we first opened, I think you were here, but we were open for maybe like 2 weeks and this guy came in. It was the day that the machine broke. Yeah. Like we couldn't make any drinks. Dude came in pissed. He was like, I drove all the way from Woodlands and I came here and you didn't tell me that you were going to close today. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. It's nothing I can do. The machine's broken. Like, I wish I could buy one. I ended up giving like a few drinks for free, like, cold brew, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, what can I do to make you feel better? What can I do to change your experience? Well, I need some coffee. And I'm like, okay, well, how about this? I have my little home machine. Right? The decent machine. I can hook it up and I can make you an espresso. It'll take me 15 minutes. He goes back to the car, talks to his wife, and then he comes back. He's like, okay, that's fine. So I make it for him. It takes 15 minutes, but I give it back to him.
And it's the best coffee he's ever had.
It's the best coffee he's ever had.
Yeah.
Best coffee.
Yeah.
And you know what? It probably wasn't the best coffee he's ever had, but it's probably the best experience he had.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it probably was. It definitely was.
It made him feel like it mattered. Yeah. And he was clearly mad for some reason that day. Yeah. Maybe it was the traffic. Maybe it was raining heavy that day. Yeah. Maybe it was his wife. Maybe his wife's in labor. I don't know.
Yeah. And you made him feel heard.
I made him feel heard. So that kind of perspective I bring to my team. Because it's like, every time that someone comes in, you'll notice they look at the menu and they get kind of anxious. They're like, oh, there's a lot going on here. Make them feel comfortable. Be like, hey, I have questions. Answer, or I'll answer them. Yeah. If you need recommendations, I have great recommendations.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How often now do you create along with the coffee shop? Because the coffee shop takes up 99% of your time, but you're still creating.
Or brain power.
Yeah, and you're still putting stuff out on the Instagram.
Yeah,
you're shooting outside of that. So like, how much are you actually shooting, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I'm retaining one client. They're a card house, funny enough. But yeah, like that's a good creative. I literally just came from filming, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally. It was.
So like, why do you have that?
That's such a good question. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys that I shoot, or that I film, the guys that I film, he loves like the look I give him. Like the look of the video, like it looks cinematic. Like I learned a lot of color grading from you. You know, I get that like, you know, dark blue hues, you know, the cream shadows, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's probably just because like I make them feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's good money.
So you always see yourself creating, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Like with a camera.
Yeah. I think creating for other people is way different than filming or creating things for yourself. I love creating for the shop. I don't love creating for myself. Like, you know, personally, like, you know, if I want to do YouTube or whatever, I don't like it. And I like filming I like creating for other people. Now for the shop, I wasn't creating for a while. Like I was way too busy for like operation stuff, and I had, you know, a lot of emails and everything, had to do scheduling, payroll, all this stuff. So I challenged myself, like I'm going to do 2-3 posts a week. Like I have to schedule out. And ever since I've been doing pretty well with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's sometimes where it's definitely hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
But you'll always have that in your back pocket. Like you'll never be a full-time only coffee, forget the camera type person. Like
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, then I basically feel like how I shot Alpha, you know, like I'm just shooting gym clothes for 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
No, I think that's spot on. I think I like creating, but like I want to keep changing it up. And creating for other people is priceless, really.
Yeah.
Some people would think that it sucks, but like it really is priceless.
You not putting any... I love that you're just really open-minded about it. Like you not putting any limitations on yourself for, I can only photograph this specific subject matter. You know, I think that's like the beautiful, I don't know. I'm really big. And also the older I get, the more I recognize that it's okay to give ourselves as artists permission for our interests to change. And I think that everyone is so used to being told, I don't know, you should just have this dream, and if you're passionate, it'll never change, and like when you're 16, it's going to be the same dream as when you're 50, you know? And I think that some people that might be true, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I also think that sometimes that like puts us in a box, and it's like as you grow and learn and experience life and your perspectives change, the things that you care about also change, you know? And I think that it's really... I don't know, it's important to give yourself like the freedom to like adapt.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I just know a lot of artists and creatives have felt very, I mean, I know the term burnout can be like overused a bit, or misused, I should say, but it's like, well, why not try graphic design?
Yeah.
You know, like, or why not just try to learn guitar? I don't know. Like, I just think that there's just so many other, like, we're capable of a lot more, and like not to put a box.
The older you get, the more you're like, you realize you can utilize everything together.
It all ties. Yeah.
Just like whenever I make films or whatever, I take all my music training from whenever I was younger, guitar, drums and everything, and I utilize that into films. And like,
because if you would have put yourself in a box, think about how different your life would look. Like if you went to school for photography, you know, and it's like when you were a sophomore in college and someone would like show you a snapshot of like this moment. Like you're going to own your own coffee shop. I mean, you might have like already loved coffee then, but I mean, I just feel like that you would have been like, wait, that's not the plan. You know, like that's not the picture.
I did think everyone wanted to open a coffee shop at one point.
Really?
Like college or whatever, when I was a barista, everyone came up to me, I want to open a coffee shop. I want to open a coffee shop.
Yeah.
That inherently like told me like, okay, it's probably impossible to open a coffee shop because if everyone's saying they want to do it, I don't see coffee shops around here, you know?
Yeah.
But you know,
I think it's like a misconception. Everyone thinks like, oh, I'll just have a little coffee shop and it'll like
like it's easy.
Yeah, like it'll just like
it's definitely not that easy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to open a coffee shop, I can help you along the way.
But you better be passionate about it.
Well, you can't be passionate about coffee.
You got to be passionate about the customer service.
You
Yeah.
got to be passionate about the people because they're the one paying you.
Yeah.
That's almost like you're passionate about portrait photography, but you hate seniors. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And loving coffee isn't enough to deal with all of the challenges I feel like that come along with like owning a business, because I mean, when we owned our portrait business, it was the same thing. Like, I loved photography, but 90% of my time was spent doing taxes and scheduling and sales sessions and like not with a camera in my hand. And it's like you really have to love like every aspect of it.
If you're passionate about coffee and that dude that comes in that drove an hour is mad at you, you're gonna
not handle it that way.
You're not gonna be so nice. But well, cool. This was awesome. This is fun. This is a really weird podcast because we know so much about each other that it's just like,
well, that's what we say when we do it by ourselves, because it's like we're sharing stories that it's like, like, wait, I mean, I'm actually still learning things. I'm like, I've never heard that story, and we've like grown up together, which I think is actually really fun. But
but the shop's cool. This table was where I wrote my last film, Glow. Did all the pre-production on.
You know, I still have the 98 thing out there.
I was going to say that booth down there at the end is your,
I know, I need to put
designated.
In one of the cubbies behind me, there's like a 98 written.
You know what you should do? You should just like tape the paper script under the.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Maybe
just like a little secret.
Maybe one day if like one of my movies sells, I'll like tape something underneath it that's like a collectible or something. I don't know.
Like a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely talk about our experiences at Outfleet though. In a different
that'd be cool. Like
that could be a whole podcast.
Yeah.
There's so many. I know. I feel like we could do a whole podcast just on breaking down Severance.
Oh yeah.
And then like a whole podcast on
music, or not music theory, a little movie theory.
Yeah. Yeah. We tried to do
deep.
a movie review in every one, which I guess we kind of did Severance in this one, but like we'll see a movie every week and then kind of break it down.
Yeah. It's hard though, because when we walk out of the movies, we want to talk about it right then. And I'm like, no, like we have to be on the podcast so that we're not like repeating the same.
Did you watch the Oscars last night? No.
Not all of it.
No.
Not all of it.
Yeah. It was all right.
Did anyone surprise you?
Hey, I have to give major props to Honora.
Yeah,
it
Honora
took home the most.
Everything swept.
I think they actually broke a record.
Yeah.
Really?
The most in one year. Like, I think it was 5 Academy Awards, something like that.
But on a $6 million budget indie film.
An independent film made with a 40-person crew.
No
in
way.
New York for $6 million.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
And I haven't seen the film, but I was like, because they got up there, and one of the acceptance speeches was like, keep movies alive, like keep making movies, keep going to the theaters,
making them for the theater. Yeah.
Like even for like I don't know, it was like a call for independent filmmakers, like don't stop making movies. It just was heartfelt, you know.
Jay has been He's been telling me that films will never die.
Films?
Well, yeah, you remember when AMC was like doing that weird stock thing?
Yeah, but then TikTok came out.
So
I don't know now. No, I don't think. I think there were
storytelling. I don't think will ever die. But I think the format we view it in might change as time goes on.
I am team no vertical.
Team horizontal all the way.
Team horizontal all the way. You saw those frames I captured on that post on Kohi? I just want to do it just to...
We see the world in horizontal. We don't see it in vertical.
Have you ever thought about that? That our eyes are literally widescreen?
Oh, yeah.
Like the way that our skulls are designed.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, we view everything this way.
We don't have our eyes stacked on top of each other.
Right.
I think about it all the time. I'm like...
It's like, like your field of view is like panoramic, you know? Yeah.
You would think like vertical wouldn't be convenient, but it is.
It's just because of the device that we hold in our hand has to fit in your hand.
And that makes me think, why are you creating it for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have tons of clips of like just me and Kirsten like talking and it's all horizontal. One day we're just going to put it all together.
Yeah.
You know, because like...
Well, we film everything, even, whenever you just pick up your phone and like film a moment, we
Yeah.
film everything horizontal. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like a digital scrapbook almost. And one day it's like home videos, like you watch your parents' home videos or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want that stuff to be vertical.
Vertical,
Like,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I don't,
Exactly.
even if it's never going to be cut in Instagram reel or
Yeah.
TikTok or
Even
something.
if I film like my dog.
Yeah, exactly.
It's horizontal.
Yeah, maybe that means
Yeah.
we're old. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. Well. Yeah.
But hopefully that still stays the standard, like beyond, who knows what the future looks like. But I mean, as far as just documenting memories, like that hopefully will always just
Yeah.
be the standard.
Yeah. I hope movies live on.
They will.
Be a sad world without movies.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But-
I don't. I hope movie theaters don't die.
Yeah, me too.
That
Like
is, it's a
Yeah.
possibility, but I still believe, like I said, storytelling aspect is always going
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah. I mean, we're going every week. We're trying to do our part.
Yeah, we do
so-
go at least once a week.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Okay.
want to keep it alive.
Before we wrap, can we
Um,
break down these drinks?
Yes. But,
Oh, you have something.
I was just going to say, let us know what you think about the shop. I think Nick is going to let us do all of our guests in here because where we shoot ours, just me and Kerr,
Yeah.
there's not enough room. So I think in like 2 weeks, we're going to do what I'm going to call the Glow series. So hopefully, Glow got into a film festival here in Houston, and a lot of the cast and crew are going to come in town. So I want to set up interviews with all them, and we're going to do them all here. So in like
It's
2
screening
weeks,
March 16th.
yeah, in 2 weeks we're going to do like the Glow podcast series and
Yeah.
kind of bring on everyone. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's break
Okay,
down these
drink.
drinks. Mine's gone. Oh no, mine's gone.
Okay, this is not on the menu because Nick just makes me.
If you're
Test.
just
I'm the
listening and not
test.
watching, I'm sorry.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you can hear it. Do it up to the mic. So Kirby's drinking
ASMR.
an iced what?
It is an orange soda coffee. You probably have a way cooler name for it.
I
It's
would
got
eat-
sparkling water, orange,
Oat
and
milk.
espresso and milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I would consider like an espresso tonic.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's tonic is the word I
yeah,
needed.
and then the one next to it, I just think it's like a.
We haven't come up with a name for this yet.
Yeah, it's just an
that's
orange cream soda.
delicious.
It
It's
tastes like a dreamsicle,
Dreamsicle.
summer
It
refresh.
is so good.
That was the idea. My dad loves orange stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so I made that for him one day, and
Yeah.
like I've just been making it for people. It's not on the menu, but maybe I'll
That's the
bring
worst part though, because we come in, Nick's like, "Here, try this," and
All
we're
the
like,
best
"Put it on
drinks
the
you
menu."
don't put on the menu.
because they're different.
Nick,
That's
your
really
hot
it.
chocolate.
Yeah, the
Oh
hot chocolate.
That's literally the best.
ridiculously
The best
good.
hot chocolate I've ever had in my
and
life.
you don't even like hot chocolate.
I know. I hate
Like
chocolate.
you're
but
not
this is
even
the
like
best.
a big
Yeah.
chocolate fan.
Call
Yeah.
it like a 10-year plan, 5-year plan. But like I would love to have a shop where you would fill out a sheet. What's your sweetness tolerance? What's your what do you like sour or not?
Like
Do you
And then-
which?
Huh?
Like which?
Oh yeah,
Remember
you
which
like
one? You fill out the
mark
bag.
the sandwich.
I'm just kidding.
Essentially, but you wouldn't pick it, right? You would
No,
just
yeah.
pick what you like and
Yeah.
don't like, right?
That'd be
And then
cool.
y'all
And
can make
then we
something.
can just make whatever you want.
That'd be
Wow, that
I
would
mean,
be
that,
an experience.
essentially, if you don't think about it, if you really think about it, our menu's already built like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say y'all already
Our
do
men-
that. You
our menu-
ask someone, "Do you like sweet? Do you like
Yes.
Yeah.
cold? Do you like hot?"
But it's almost like a concept that I'm trying to train my customers to think.
Yeah.
And like that's why it takes like small steps for this. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why the shop is not big, right? Everyone complains about our space, but I didn't know we were going to be successful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to expand on the space, get more seating, right? But the concept of what we're doing here is kind of like an omakase. I want to say that very lightly because omakase is like it's an experience. Omakase is an experience, right? And I don't think we've given that experience yet. But it is the basic plan of what we're doing here. Like we have
Yeah.
our own syrups, we have our milks, like we have
Everything's very custom.
custom. I learned that people like that from Starbucks,
Mm-hmm.
but we want to do it in a very
Yeah.
specialty way.
Like a homegrown.
I think that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing. I don't know if I said this earlier, but you don't have your typical syrups: vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, any of that stuff.
And people still come.
Yeah, like
Which
you-
surprises me.
The most normal syrup you have is brown sugar syrup,
Yeah.
And even that's really
yeah,
unique.
it's so unique. And
Well, it's unique in the way that y'all
it's
make the
homemade,
drinks.
yeah.
Yeah. And then what did you drink?
Oh, so mine was a brown sugar oat milk latte
Yeah.
that is all gone now,
Yeah.
but
And then
delicious.
you've
My
got-
go-to.
I
cortado?
used to have or did have banana cortado. I just put like 10 grams of banana in there, and it's like a small drink.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink. I mean, bro, you know, like, I don't drink a lot.
I'm going to be lit tonight.
Yeah, this one's just a banana soda. I know it sounds weird, but like,
no, it's
literally try it.
I want to try that.
And you'll
amazing.
thank me later.
Yeah. So come to Kohi and test out. Ask Nick just to give a wild card drink. You know.
Yeah, I'll make it something.
Just tell him your sweetness level.
You should have something on the menu that just says like wild card, and it's like a set price. Like it's like, I don't know, like a certain thing.
You should just do that and be like, yeah, for your
and then it's
like
like
that
if
idea.
someone orders it, then it's like whoever's on the bar gets to just make whatever they
I
want.
kind of like that idea. I think people have already done that.
Oh, okay.
See, here we go, giving Nick suggestions.
I don't
He's
want
like,
not a suggestion.
I
It's just
don't
like a
wanna-
mystery drink.
I don't want to take their idea, you know, but
Yeah.
I would like to
Oh.
make it unique enough
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it would be called something else.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
I don't know. There's think ideas like this I think about all the time.
Yeah.
yeah. There's,
Especially when
it's
I'm like-
endless here. Like, you can do so much.
Oh yeah, I'll be sitting at that chair right there
Mhm.
because it's the closest to the POS, and I would hear what people would order, and it makes me think. I'm like, okay,
It's like Undercover Boss.
well, I mean, I think everyone at this point.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if people know.
Customers probably, new customers wouldn't.
Yeah, new
wouldn't know.
customers, but yeah, the regulars know.
I really do
Yeah.
pay attention. Like I, you know, the whole ice thing. Like a lot of people thought our drinks were too watery because the ice would melt. I'm still trying to figure that out. But it was just the milks that we were using. Our milks were tasting like water.
Yeah.
So I just changed
Switched.
new milks.
Yep.
No one's complaining about them since.
That's crazy.
You kind of have to crack down on those things.
Yeah.
You can't just assume like one thing is the problem. We have great water. Our water is fantastic. It's reverse osmosis.
Yeah,
Three-stage
your
filter,
water is
you know?
crazy. So his water, he strips all of everything out of
It's common in coffee shops. I think it's actually
Okay.
required. But
it. First time I ever heard about it.
Yeah.
And then he adds all of the minerals back into it to make delicious
it's
tasting
chemistry.
water. Yeah, it's so good.
yeah, I mean,
I need to come fill up a gallon jug, take it home.
you can't do that. I'll send you one home.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool, Nick. Thank you for being our first guest on our podcast. This is crazy.
And
This is
hanging
cool.
out. This was fun.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to
Yeah.
be the first guest.
And we're going to be back in the shop for all of our future guests.
Mm-hmm.
And this is fun. This is cool. We'll bring Nick back. We'll deep dive into like.
Maybe whenever we talk about our future series,
Yeah.
docu-series.
I forgot to do this on the last one, and no one's done it yet. But if you've made it this far, comment A. What's your favorite emoji?
The salute emoji.
The salute. Oh yeah, that is your favorite.
Oh,
yeah, comment
yeah.
the salute emoji
Come on,
down
man.
below if you've made it this far.
Let us know.
If you do that, you will be the first person to do that on any of these episodes because no one's done it. So I guess no one's made it this far.
It's okay. We're 1 month in, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to be fair, we haven't
Episode
promoted
4.
this anyway because we're
No.
staying on the DL.
Yeah, staying on the DL. But cool. Alrighty.
Cool.
Thank
See you
you.
later. Thanks.